Hi everybody, how are you? My week is an utter mess. It is Friday today, but for some reason I have been under the impression that yesterday was Saturday, and thus I treated yesterday like a weekend. Just to come to the silly realization after I had a midday snooze that it was actually Thursday. I never take a nap on a weekday. Never. Anyway, as always, I'm busting my chops, catching up on royal news, and yes, I am aware the King and Queen Consort touched down in Germany. They both looked and behaved impeccably, and I loved Camilla's dress and those sparkly jewels and tiara she wore to the evening function yesterday. She looked like the queen of fairies as she glittered along. Now, if only someone could suggest to the king to have a proper haircut and have his neck shaved clean, all will be hunky-dory. Please tell the king a nice clean square cut at the back looks sexy and is proof that the finer details actually count. Okay, so let's move away from fashion. You have all likely seen and heard that Meghan and Harry's Archwell Foundation's financials dropped. I believe Royal Grift has done some excellent videos on that. Now, before I talk about it in depth, I just want to remind you all that Archwell Foundation is the supposed charitable arm of Archwell. There is still Archwell Audio, Archwell Productions, and 13 other limited companies that the Harkles manage and own, if one can call it that. So, to get a proper understanding of what they are really up to, one will have to at least see the books of Archwell Audio, where we are all talking Spotify, etc., and Archwell Productions, where we can start to think about Netflix and so on and so on. But for this video, we will stick to Archwell Foundation. The foundation raised 13 million, but that 13 million came from only two sources, a donation of 10 million and one of 3 million. And then there's like 4,000 in private or other donations and about 1,000 in interest earned, etc. Now, everyone is speculating about where the money came from. The most plausible guess I have heard so far is that the 10 million came from Oprah as payment for either the interview or the Me You Don't See program, and the other 3 million from Harry or Meghan, or Harry and Meghan themselves, either from the proceeds of the Netflix or Spotify or book deal. Who knows? And we won't know unless we could see the accounts for Archwell Audio and Archwell Productions or then Pika Publishing. Of course, there could be other options like Ellen DeGeneres, Tyler Perry, and Meghan's dear old pal Gordon Getty. But the point is, we don't know and won't know unless someone leaks or tells us. But what is of significance is what they are doing with the money, which is actually meant for charity, and how much of it is actually going to charity. Well, you see, there are words best left unspoken, as putting it out into the universe may just result in it coming back to haunt you. Yes, indeed, old Friar Harry was back at court today, and seeing his smug mug made me think of what he said and what he called others when he said he was deeply concerned by the unchecked power, influence, and criminality of associated newspapers and those who work for them. It won't be the first time he has called journalists or a journalist a criminal. And remember when he called a journalist a pestule on the arse of humanity? Remember that? Well, let's look at how much of a pestule on the arse of humanity Mr. Harry Markle is or isn't. Okay, so it said that Harry and Meghan spent 52 hours actively working for or at or on behalf of the Archwell Foundation in the book year 2021 to 2022 while collecting that $13 million, which is not surprising as usually other or normal charities have to arrange events and functions to raise money. I mean, things like raffles, banquets, marathons, you name it. Real charities actually work very hard, or their patrons do, to collect funds. You just need to listen to Lady C to know that. Garden parties, tea parties, auctions, it's all hard work. But you see, Megan may come across as diligent and hardworking, but she's actually anything but. Meghan Markle likes fame and the benefits that come with it, but hard work is not her thing and never was her thing. Okay, so regardless of who the two benefactors were, the fact remains that of the $13,005,660 they collected, they donated or dished out only $3,096,319, or then 24% of its income. Now, significantly is that $163,000 went to salaries and $727,666, may I mention the actual triple six, but let's move on, was listed as other expenses. Now ask yourselves, if Archwell did not host a ball, did not host an auction or a concert or a marathon to collect funds, then what did they spend $727,666 on? Okay, well, let me give you an idea. There are things like private jet flights, and as they are working from home, they can pay themselves a proportionate yet market-related rental. For example, let's say they use 99 square meters of floor space as an office, and this space is shared by Archwell Foundation, Archwell Audio, and Archwell Productions. Then they can legally bill Archwell Foundation for a third of the 99 square meters, in other words, 33 square meters. And if the going rate is $700 per square meter, then they can bill the Archwell Foundation for, say, $23,100 per month. Now, I'm not saying they did, it doesn't look like it, but I'm saying they can. And remember the private jet to Uvalde? Well, to give you an idea of the cost of a private jet, a mid-size private jet flying you from Los Angeles to New York can cost up to $20,000. Okay? However, other charter flights were charged by the hour, and again, a mid-sized jet will cost approximately $4,000 to $8,000 per flight hour, depending on in-flight services, etc. And if it has to wait for you, it can cost anything from about $1,400 per hour, and this may or may not include the pilot, who could charge $50 per hour flying and $25 on standby, plus hotel, plus food. Anyway, they only billed $12,096 to travel against Archwell. Like I said, there is still Archwell Productions and Archwell Audio, and it would have been a little too obvious had they billed all their travel against the charity. What I do find suspicious is the $427,110 for legal fees, which they billed against the foundation. Why and what for? The only legal cost I know of was incurred by them personally in all their lawsuits against the media, the lawsuit with Samantha, etc., etc. So what could nearly $500,000 in legal fees billed to the foundation be for? Or did they do that in lieu of paying themselves a salary? Did they pay their personal legal fees instead of paying themselves a salary? I don't know. Then, to make up the total of $727,666 in expenses, they charged $69,042 to conferences, conventions, and meetings. Oh my word. I would love to see those invoices and receipts, but let's leave that right there. Okay, to cut a long story short, it is who they donated to which really piques my interest. And here on the screen is an actual list of those the Archwell Foundation donated to. Now, the ones I find interesting and questionable are Harvard, $250,000, Georgetown University, and Stanford University. Now, in my opinion, a university is not a charity, not if the particular university is one of the most prestigious in the country. Let's take a quick look. Harvard University is a private Ivy League research university in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Stanford University is a private research university in Stanford, California. Both Stanford and Harvard have a 4% acceptance rate. What does that mean? It means they accept only 4% of all students who apply to them. Thus, they pick and choose from the best. Georgetown University is also a private institution in the Georgetown neighborhood of Washington, D.C. Now, why would Harry and Meghan make sizable donations to three relatively wealthy universities which they have no historical links to? I shall tell you why, as it is not a new trick at all. As a matter of fact, it is as old as the oldest university itself. You pay these influential institutions to indoctrinate their students with your truth. You pay them to teach your doctrine, your belief system, and you pay them to make the outcome of their research fit your narrative. Then look at the $50,000 to paid leave for the United States, a 100% political donation from a British prince, duke, and duchess, fifth in line to the British throne. Beautiful, just beautiful. And the new king has not, as yet, stripped his errant son of his titles has not yet removed them from the line of succession, and for that matter, neither has the British Parliament insisted on it being done either, hence going against their own constitution. What it also tells me is that the whole theory of the British royal family being involved and instrumental in the doctrines of the World Economic Forum and Soros's One World ideology is likely less of a conspiracy theory and leaning more towards the truth and nothing but the truth. If you want to convince me otherwise, now is the time to do it, because I am close, very close, to believing it all. And then, please explain the $125,000 donation to URL Media Holdings. It is not a charity. It is listed as a private entity, and its description is as follows: building a decentralized, multi-platform network of high-performing black and brown media organizations. Okay? It has one director, Ella Nze, Nze, and one employee, Mitra Kalita, listed as CEO and co-founder. Yet, Harry and Meghan donated $125,000 to this private entity with 2 employees. No. Now, look, I have an idea. I may be wrong, but I don't think I am. I think this is the money which goes to the main sugars. You know, those payments and wages they have been tweeting about? Yes, indeed. I think dear Ella and Mitra are the paymasters on behalf of Harry and Meghan. Then, of course, a bit further down the list, the $125,000 to NAACP, which proves that they paid for the award, and so on and so on. Okay, so there's still a lot to unpack, but for now, I am way too angry about Samantha's case being dismissed to spend hours doing research on each donation. We have way too much else to talk about. So, my dear friends, please take care of yourselves until we meet on the next video. Bye.